All right, so let me go ahead and show you guys the player setup. This is a 3-player setup. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna give each player their player board. And this is kind of a table hug a little bit. So I'll try to show you as much as I can like this. But you got your entrance, your cards, and the player token of the matching color. And you're gonna do that for each one of the player. In this case is we're playing with yellow, blue like I showed you, and then pink. So give each one of the players one of those. The first thing I'm gonna do after that is you're gonna grab your card, what is it called? The pedestal points. And then you're gonna randomly place them down here on the pedestal section, okay? And you're gonna go ahead and place all of them, and then we'll skip this part, fast forward this part, so you don't have to sit through all of it. Okay, so once the pedestal points have been set up at the board, what I like to do is grab the pedestals, put them in a baggie like this, and then randomly, without looking at it, shuffle them, and then start down here. And then after that, you're gonna follow the same color pattern. So blue, white, yellow, whoops, and blue. And you're gonna look at if you look at the board, you see the little areas where the pedestals go. So just keep following that pattern and continue to put all of them on the board, across the board, following that same pattern. Like so. White, yellow, blue, white, yellow, and blue. You'll have extra ones. You can put those away. You don't need those. Then the step after that is you're gonna set up the workshops. And basically the way it works is you're gonna do 2 per player plus an extra one. So it's the same thing. I like to shuffle them around. You can put them in any other corners, whatever is easier for you guys. Usually we do it down here. So that's 1, 2 for one player. 2 for the second, and then 2 for the third, and that extra one. Once you finish with that, you're gonna get all the extra ones and you're gonna put them back on the board. Then we like to set up all the tiles on the side of the board, like this. These are your dig tiles. And then we like to set up the gray halls as well on the side of the board, like that. Okay, once that's been set, then we want to grab your spells. We'll shuffle them. And then we usually set this up on the other side of the board. Put 3 up. So, and the rest down like that. And the way it works we also want to set up the tokens here. We should keep the tokens in the same spot as the tiles. These are the coronation tokens. On a 3-player game, you're gonna have the 5 and the 3 both out. Set that up like that. And the way it works is, as far as the player setup, actually, you know what? Let's do the cards. Let's do the trolls. I'm gonna set the trolls to the right, so I'll move the camera to this side. All right, so this is how we're gonna set up the trolls. You're gonna grab all the ones, shuffle it. And you're gonna set up your trolls. believe it's 6. We'll find out in a second. You're gonna put this on this side. You're gonna grab your 2s and then shuffle that. And you're gonna put them like that in a triangle, in a pyramid. And then you're gonna get your 3s. Shuffle that. So it's definitely one less. So if you're gonna grab that, it should be like this. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4, and then 3, because you want to have a pyramid with 3 on top. Then you're gonna grab these tokens, which are called the pedestal reminders, and you're gonna put those on top, like so. And then you're gonna grab your bag with your pencils. You're gonna shuffle them. Not shuffle them, but you're gonna mix them up. You're gonna put one on each one of this row. Each one of the trolls on this row, like so. And then you're gonna keep this bag aside, okay? So that's how you set up the trolls. There's a different horde, okay? So at this point, I moved this over to the top a little bit so that you can see. I'm gonna give you an example with just those 2 players. This is a 3-player setup. Basically, the way we like to do it is we grab the tokens, mix them up, let one drop, and that's the first player. That first player grabs the first player marker, and then we'll go clockwise. So let's say the blue one is the second player and the pink one is the third player. Okay, so the first player is going to grab their cards and they're going to shuffle them, like so. And then they're going to get 2 cards down and they're going to pick whichever one is the one they want to keep. Let's say they want to keep this one. Put that on the board. Okay, now they grab another card and then they can make a decision which one they want to keep. Let's say they want to keep this one and put that on the board. And then they get another card. And let's say they want to keep that one, put that on the board. And let's say they want this card, they're going to keep that one on the board. And then you're going to keep it like that. Second player is going to do the same thing. Shuffle, and then show 2 cards, figure out what the one they want to keep, and then just keep going. And the third player is going to do the same thing. At this point, the first player doesn't get any extra resources, so the first player can go ahead and put their cards back in the box. On a 3-player game, you do get to keep extra resources, so you're going to do extra resources for that, but not for this one. And the third player is going to do the same thing. I believe in a 4 or 5-player game, correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, you get the resources for the 2 cards, but in a 3-player game, you get the extra resources from that card. First player doesn't get any resources. So let's go ahead and show you how the resources work. Go ahead and grab the resources real quick. All right, so in this case, first player has to grab resources, and you don't look at the resources on the bottom of it. So for example, you got that. So you get stones down here. He gets an iron. Got an iron. And he gets a rune or a gem. Okay, so that's the starting resources for that player. This player gets the following starting resources: so a rune, stone. He gets 2 stones for that extra card. There's an iron. And he gets a hammer. And then the third player is going to do the same thing. Okay, once you got in all those resources, you're going to put that in your storage. You can get rid of that card because you're not gonna need that card anymore. And the first player is gonna do the same thing. Okay, at that point you can slide the cards underneath your board because you're not gonna need that anymore. So you're gonna slide it to the dotted line. Like so. And the first player, everybody's gonna do the same thing. Okay. Now you're going to go ahead and grab your gate tiles, which is this little tiles, and every player has one other color. And the first player is going to decide where they want to start. So if you look at the board, let's bring this down again. There are starting sections marked. This is a 3-player, 3-player, 3-player. And you're basically going to pick which one you want to use. So let's say you want to use this one. You put yours there, and then the second player picks one of the remainder zones, starting points, and then the third player will pick theirs. Okay, and that is the setup, ready to play.